Okay guys, I decided to that I'm going to make a series of videos regarding your trimmer blades, zero gapping, how sharp, all that stuff. So I'm going to start with the basics, and in the next videos will be a breakdown of the basics. So let's start right here. A lot of people talk about zero gapping their trimmers. A lot of people do it. Now this blade right here, this is 100% zero gapped. I don't really use blades like this. It's a little too sharp. Okay, what I like to do is make them just a little touch below zero gap like this. Okay, let's see if we can get a good look. If you look closely, that is not 100% zero gapped. Okay, and that's how I like them. Alright, so I like them like this because they're not too sharp, and but they still cut pretty well. Okay, now let's go back to this blade. Okay, so let's say you have some trimmers that are 100% zero gapped, but they still leave a little tiny stubble that probably only you as a barber can see. Okay, that comes down to the thickness of the still blade. Okay, so the reason there's still some hair left is because of how thick this blade right here is. Okay, and that's why barbers and companies like to modify the blades. That's one thing you can do, is if you grind that down just a little bit, the still blade will cut a little bit closer. So if you see, so as you can see, this is modified very well. All right, next we're gonna discuss the sharpness of the teeth. Okay, so like these are real decent. If you notice, they're not, the teeth are not super sharp. They're a little flat at the top. That is what you want. Okay, because how sharp those teeth are has nothing to do with how crispy you cut a line in. Now if you look at these ones right here, this is too sharp. Okay, if you look real closely, you can see that I have it zero gapped the way I like to do it. Let's see if we can get a good angle. You know, it's not 100% zero gapped, but it's pretty close. Alright, well, but because the teeth are so sharp, the guy who sharpened this blade, he went this way instead of going that way. Now, I don't know exactly how we're supposed to do it, but all I know is that these teeth are very sharp. And yeah, so it's not the most comfortable blade for me to use. These ones are not. They're a little flat, and that's fine. See, what it really comes down to is the sharpness of the edges on the teeth. So not the tips, but the edges. How sharp are they? That's what's going to determine how well your trimmers cut. All right, next thing I'm going to discuss real quick is the thickness of the cutter blade. Now this one I'm not 100% sure how this works, but this is a really good company right here, but they leave it kind of thick. At the same time, they offer blades that are modified on this side too. So instead of just modifying the cutter blade, or excuse me, the still blade like this, these guys will actually modify the cutter blade as well. And those are the basics. If I think of anything else, I'll mention it. Always read my description. Sometimes I forget to mention stuff, so I'll write it down in the description. And we're gonna go from here.